Carmen Roda is a familiar face around Westport. As operations manager for Westport's Parks and Recreation Department, he is the go-to guy for every aspect of Parks and Rec. Beaches, longshore, athletic fields, youth and adult programs. He makes sure it all runs smoothly. Not an easy task, so Carmen, welcome to 06880, the podcast.
Thanks, Dan. It's an honor to be here.
So I guess how do you get to be operations manager? What's the career path?
Well, this is a little interesting for me, a little different. I retired from the state of Connecticut after 30 years, and I was working part-time for Parks and Recreation, overseeing Campo Beach. And with my background of organizing and working with the youth sports programs and my operational skills, they took a chance on me full-time when Dan DeVito left as operations manager. And it's been phenomenal ever since I got here. I'm truly blessed to be working in this community.
You like your job?
I love my job. It's never dull. It's always something different. You get to meet and see a lot of people, especially down at the beaches or the fields. And it's a big community that embraces a lot of things that are very important to me.
And you make them feel good. I mean, this is not public works where you're filling in potholes. You're doing stuff with people.
Right. The one thing I like about it is, for me, we get to hire a lot of students, right? So we hire between 90 and 160 students over the summer for lifeguarding, guest services, maintenance. I have a great senior foreman, Mike Genta, who the nice thing about it is I coached him from third grade up through PAL, and now he's working for me. It's just great synergy. And the people who I work with, we have a very good team. Right now it's led by Deputy Director Rick Genta, who's been phenomenal, helping guiding us through this summer. And you get to be with people that you like and have the same vision, and working with the public and talking with them. It's just phenomenal.
I'm going to bang through. I briefly mentioned some of the things you do, but let me go through it in detail, and you tell me sort of what's involved. The Waterfront.
So with the Waterfront, it's under my umbrella, but the direct supervisor is Michael Genta. He's our Waterfront director. And that includes the Longshore Marina. It includes Campo Marina, the lifeguards, the pool at Longshore, all the marina operations from slips to guest services with the staff. Michael has done a phenomenal job with the staff there. Again, our whole aspect is customer service, and our division of operations is purely customer service. So when somebody comes with the boat and there's an issue with the boat, Michael's down there with his staff. We could take care of it. We look at future projects that we could do to help improve our amenities. And our ideal is, no matter what part we're working with, this is like Disney World, right? People want to go there. We want them to feel welcome. We want it to be clean and have them have a good experience. So, I have a great team that works with me to help make our amenities shine.
So tell me about guest services. These are the kids, right? Primarily kids
Yes.
who sort of interface with the public?
Yeah, the guest service staff are the primary function is they staffing the beaches for checking tickets, selling day parking passes. We cover Campo Marina, we cover Longshore Marina, and the Inlet Longshore for special events, Bering Hill Beach and Old Mill, tennis operations. They're the first front lines people who greet our customers, whether they're a town resident or an outside person coming to use our facilities. And we want them to be welcoming. We don't want to discourage anybody from coming in. We want everybody to have a good experience, whether you live here or not. The nice thing about it is they're local kids. They go to Staples, they're in our school system. And then when they're in college, they come back to, do some work over the summer to make some extra money.
I know that a lot of towns have difficulty staffing their lifeguards, and we seem to have plenty of lifeguards.
We don't have a problem there. Between, again, Michael and Danilo, who's in charge of the lifeguards under Michael, we put on a comprehensive application system, and we try to look for the right people who are energetic. And honestly, we try to stay a little bit above the minimum wage, and we look at surrounding communities to see what they're paying their lifeguards. And we do things that are fun. Michael and Danilo have developed this lifeguard Olympics every year, so it's the lifeguards competing against themselves. It's something fun for them to do, and I think that's one of the things that we've noticed is that our staff likes to work here. They like to work in our community and work under Parks and Rec, and we're lucky. We have not had over the last 4 years any problems getting lifeguards and keeping them.
Wow. Tell me some things about the waterfront that people might not know.
How busy it is. Sometimes people look at the waterfront as when it's 80 degrees and beautiful outside, and that's the busiest time. But there's times that when it's rainy and windy, we have windsurfers, we have people walking, we have the maintenance of it. Down at Campo, we have pickleball, we have the longshore facilities. There's just a lot of activity. The Campo Beach last year, we took in over 200,000 cars came through that facility. That's just a lot of people using our amenities. And I think that's what maybe people don't realize how popular our Campo Beach and our other facilities are.
Yeah. Interesting. When I was growing up in Westport, the beach was sort of June through September. And that's really, it's people use the beach a lot more now.
A lot more. With the playground and the new playground coming, that'll even increase. We just redid the pickleball courts down at Campo. You have South Beach where people are grilling. It's just busy all the time. Even now during the cold, we have people going down there in the morning swimming, doing their polar plunges every day. And it's great. It's just an amenity people can use 12 months out of the year. Maybe not as much as the summer, but it's still being used.
So what are the challenges with the beaches?
The challenges are just space. Sometimes, with our rules, we try to take care of the majority of what we think is the right thing to do. You can't make everybody happy. I think that, sometimes at night we get some kids that go through there when they're not supposed to. So
that's been going on.
That's been going on
forever.
for years, right? The challenges aren't as many as they used to be. We have a nice group of people who, we have overnight staff at the marinas. We have a great partnership with Public Works and the police department. So if there is an issue in the fire department, we're all talking during the summer. We try to bring in a team approach. It's not territorial. So if somebody from another department says, hey, you might want to look at this, we take that into consideration and we actually look at it.
One of the controversies really over the past few years has been non-residents at the beach. Personally, I love walking at the beach and, hearing all the different types of music and seeing all the people who are not from Westport enjoying the beach, grilling. But I know that's a balancing act for the department, right?
It is. We have some guidelines of, how many cars or out-of-town passes we can sell. But I agree with you. We've had no issues with people from out of town, to be honest. They're great customers, cleaning up after themselves and keeping things neat and orderly. And to me, the volume of out-of-towners that come to our amenities speaks volumes to what they think of our amenities. And the fact that we could be inclusive puts us above a lot of other towns.
Do they say thank you?
Yeah. They're appreciative. Even our own residents. I mean, our residents are very protective of Campo Beach, but they also see a lot of things, and they help us if they see something that's out of whack. And they even say thank you of how they see the beaches being cleaned and taken care of and maintained, especially like after the 4th of July fireworks.
That's astonishing. The next morning at 8 o'clock, it's like nothing happened.
You would never know that we had fireworks the night before. And those are kind of the things that I take pride in with what my staff does.
What goes into the fireworks that people don't see?
the numerous meetings of operation mechanics of how to get things done on parking, from how we're going to let cars in between the grass lot and the main lot and how we coordinate that. The timing of getting all the staff at their spots to move the cars out. We move them out in record time. And I think the biggest part is the app. Once all the cars leave, the staff is there till 1, 2 in the morning, and we're cleaning up the beaches and taking the garbage out. Michael and I stay right till the end with our staff, so we're ready to get right at 8 o'clock to open up and like it never existed.
Wow.
It's and again, I can't take the credit for it. It's the team. The team pulls together, and they really do a good job. I'm so proud of the staff that we've had. Knock on wood, they do a really good job, and they care. They take pride in the work that they do.
I mean, the rap on has always been that kids don't want to work, that they don't work hard.
No, our kids work very hard, and I think one thing we do is that at the end of the year we do a staff picnic for them to say thank you from the administration. Jen Tucker, Andrew Moore, some RTM members come down, our administration's there, just to say thank you to the staff. But they really like working for us. There's things that we're able to, it's a job, but it's not a job.
Sure.
We help make it fun. You have to like going to where you work, and we try to do that. And they really step up and do the job.
You're in charge of fields as well. Talk about fields.
Fields, all the fields in the town are scheduled for all the youth groups. The major challenge that we face is that there's not enough fields for the volume of athletes and people who want to use them. So there's a balance. Every year, or every season, I should say, that the youth groups submit requests, and we have to kind of put that puzzle together of who can go where. It's gotten to a point where we are utilizing where the in-season sports get the priority, and then the out-of-season sports who do camps and stuff, we try to find space. I'm blessed because of my years of, I used to be the president of PAL football and athletic director for PAL. So knowing some of those nuances helps manage negotiating space. And the youth groups have come a long way, and they work together to share. They're not just taking space not to use it. If they don't use it, they're giving it up, and we're able to help accommodate, other sports in the high school.
There is a lot of talk about, a lot of controversy about turf fields. There are the people who feel that they're unhealthy, and others who say we need them to, help solve our space problem because you can use turf fields more of the time.
The benefit for having turf fields gives us the ability to be more efficient with what we use, especially like in the spring and the rainy season. We don't have to cancel events. There is a lot of controversy about the safety of turf fields. I don't believe in what I've read that's a real concern, and I think there's going to be much more information coming out to show that, at least in the fields that we're using and we're putting down. But I do think there needs to be a balance. I am a big favor of turf and lights, just because of it's not like we have a lot of open space that we could use for grass or turf field. But turf fields these days are essential. All the towns have them. They're using them for their high schools and their youth sports. And we wouldn't be able to put on the volume of activities for the youth that we do unless we had turf fields. My background in law enforcement, we know that kids, if they don't have things to do, nothing good comes out of that. And sports in this town are better than most. And to keep kids involved in healthy activities is a great opportunity. And turf fields allow that to happen for us. So there has to be that balance. And I think people really have to do the real research and to come out to see if it's truly a safety issue. And if you remember, when we first put in the turf fields, it was the crumb rubber so-called issues that didn't lead to where it was coming out, right? And we've had 15 plus years of successful use of turf fields. I'm not going to say that there's never going to be an issue, but there's not issues that we can't overcome or find out the truth of those issues.
You're in charge of the indoor stuff too.
Indoor stuff. This is our busy time.
The pool. Staples.
Yeah, we're very, we're lucky for the amenities we have, and the indoor space. It's really similar to the outdoor space. We have Staples High School and all the other schools being used now for basketball, whether it's PAL basketball or rec basketball. And come January, we'll have the high schools and clinics coming into the field house. So we're scheduling those. Again, trying to make sure there's that balance, that we have all of our customers being able and have an opportunity to use those sports. So I kind of try to manage that puzzle. But again, it's not just me. I have a team. My foreman has been great helping, and with Rick's direction, we get it done. We figure out how to get it done where people could maybe not get everything they want, but everybody has a piece, and we're very transparent about who has what.
Do you have a computer program, or is it you guys just sitting around with a pen and pencil?
It's a pen and pencil. On the outside fields, we use a Google Doc, so everybody can see it and they can put their stuff in. And if there's somebody not using a field or a facility, excuse me, they'll put a red line through it that it's open so somebody else can use it. And that's kind of the beauty of it. We work with our program team at Parks and Rec for their programs. Continuing ed, we're putting stuff in for them. So everybody's kind of talking, which is a great town-wide team approach.
What are some of the programs what are the most popular, and what are the programs that very few people have heard of but that you really like?
Good question. Basketball. This is very popular. Rec basketball, PAL, travel. One of the things that I did like that Parks and Rec did was cooking, where there's some cooking classes inside. The pickleball, volleyball. It's just kind of neat to see the openness of looking for new programs. The one that's I think that's maybe not as known as our open swim time with the pool. We have spots where anybody in town could come and use Staples Pool and use the pool. New things.
Do people come in?
They do. Not as much as we would like, but they do. It's a great facility to use to go and get some indoor exercise. We also started scuba classes, and Parks and Rec has lifeguarding classes now, babysitting classes. Again, things that to me invests in what we do for the future.
Wow.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Who knew? I'm sure there's no such thing as a typical day.
No.
But what's a typical day?
Depending on the season. So if you take the busier season in the summer, I pop in between 6:30 and 7. I do a tour of either one or two fields every morning, and then I go down to the beaches, and I try to alternate the fields every day. Get back to the office.
What do you look for when you go to the fields?
So when I go to the fields, one, I'm looking for to see if there's people there that are using them that shouldn't be there. I look at the cleanliness of the field to make sure that our programs that are using them aren't leaving them in a disaster state. A lot of them are on school grounds, so there may be school going on, or there may be summer school or a program. Looking for any type of safety hazards. And we work very closely with our maintenance department at Parks and Rec to try to, see which fields need attention or don't. And then depending on the day, on a Wednesday, I'm giving our maintenance department the fields for the following week that need to be lined and prepped for practices and games. They do a very good job of getting them ready for a high school sports activity or a youth game, whether they're lining the fields, getting the goals up, making sure it's just a safe and a good experience for the athletes and the spectators. So, and that's, again, not just me. There's a team that does it because it's a very large area. So, and I meet with my foreman every day. We speak every single day about what needs to be done in all the areas under operations. We look at budgetary needs, safety needs, and if something pops up, like when we had an issue with the pool, Michael got on top of it. We talked to how to strategize it with Rick, and then we put a plan in place to get it open as soon as we could. And those type of things, anything that pops up out of the ordinary. Broken water valve, somebody tipped over a life chair, there's graffiti. We're trying to address it before our customers come onto the facilities to use.
People in Westport love to complain. What do they complain about? And how do you interface with the public in terms of complaints?
I have a philosophy of listening to what the complaints are, or suggestions. The biggest frustration for me, is I know in our department, is that we can't make everybody happy and we can't address every complaint. We try to do what's best for the overall part. If it's a noise complaint, we'll address it. If the fields are in a mess, we address it. I think the biggest thing is not the complaint, is to show what our reaction is. I think people just like to be heard, and I think it's our job to hear them. They live here, they pay taxes here. There's an expectation of what kind of facilities they would like, and I agree with that. It's, you look at it like it's your home. It could be anything from garbage overflowing to dogs on the beach to somebody using a tennis court giving lessons that they're not certified through Parks and Rec. Suggestions of whether what kind of shrubbery should be around somewhere. But again, it's listening, and that's a lot of what we do. And responding, you have to listen and respond.
What's your favorite place? Of all the stuff in your domain, and any place that you particularly love?
I love PJ Romano. I started coaching there.
That's the field behind
Saugatuck.
L.
Yep. I was there when it was a grass field coaching. The progression to a turf field. It's not only that my favorite field because I coached there, but for more of a personal reason. That's where my stepdaughter introduced my wife and I. She was working at the concession stand when I was coaching. And she asked me if I was dating, and she said she had somebody for me, and she set up a blind meeting between my wife and I. And that was September 11th of 2011. So that facility means a lot to me because that's where I met my wife.
Wow.
Yeah.
Places in Westport that are not as well known that you might have discovered through your work?
Well, I think for me, one of them is Bering Hill Beach. I think that's a very used facility, but not as well known as like Campo. Everything is, you hear Campo. Bering Hill Beach is a beautiful location. It has some of the best views. It has a beautiful grass area for people just to sit and picnic. I think that's, to me, on the beach side.
And they use it, people?
Yeah. In our park over here in Riverside. Now that how it was redone, it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful walk, and there's a lot of those little hidden places here. Yeah. And I'm still finding them by accident, but it's great. Between the parks and the beaches, this is like, to me, why go somewhere else for vacation? Yeah. This is a beautiful town, and we have a lot of amenities. And
you are Parks and Recreation.
Yes, we are.
So it's not just for recreation.
No. We have a lot of parks, and again, our staff does a great job of maintaining them. It's nice to see the dog park as well as is used, right, in the events that we do there. The Levitt Pavilion, what a great venue, right? That's a part of Parks and Rec.
You're in charge of the Levitt as well?
I'm not. Right. I'm not, but it's under Parks and Rec, so it's our team. And it's just beautiful when you step back and think about it. If you step outside of it, it's like, wow. Westport has a wow factor. Yeah.
What's on your wish list?
My wish list for work, I'm hoping that we could find an avenue to extend the lights. I think we need to have some lighting on our fields to help extend the day during the challenging times. That's a wish list for me. I see the benefit at Staples when the stadium's under the lights, or the temporary at PJ, but I think we could use some more lighting at other areas. I think, and again, I think overall, all the town committees are. What I like about this for me is it's the town committees I get to work with, whether it's the administration in town hall, or planning and zoning, or public works. Everybody wants to help with the achieve the common goal. And I think it's just wonderful. And again, as I think about it, a wish list for me is for more people to see the beauty in the facilities that we have. And I think appreciating what we have, and I know our residents do, it's a great place to work in. I can't be happier to work here, and I'm so blessed to be able to work with great people. I mean, that you and I met through the sports world, right?
That's right.
And we get to work on different projects, and whether it's a summer stroll or our kick off the summer event, there's those things that bring the town together. That's like the old Westport that I know, like from the Italian festival through, those are some of the things that we can do now.
Sure.
Just some more people knowing what we have to offer and enjoying them.
Sure. And last question. What's under the radar? What are people not talking about now that regarding Parks and Rec that they might be in the months ahead?
I think we have some things that are coming up. Obviously, we're a little short staffed, so we're looking to get some staffing that they'll be talking about. We have some projects that are being worked on now, whether it's the Parks and Rec master plan and the Longshore master plan. Some things that we wish we were a little more ahead of the game, but due to some circumstances, we're not. So I think they'll be talking about that, and they're very exciting.
How far ahead is the Longshore plan?
I'm not as involved in that aspect of it, but it's moving along. Probably not as fast as we would like. I think they're going to talk about the new courts at Doubleday. We put in brand new tennis and pickleball courts. They're going to be reservable next season, like Town Farms and Staples. The redoing of Doubleday gives us another amenity to the town to use. I think they'll be talking a lot about that. And the pickleball courts. There's just some things coming up. It's kind of exciting, and that's the beauty about working in our community. Things always evolve, right? We're always moving forward, and that's kind of nice to see.
You didn't know anything about pickleball when you started, did you?
Never even knew it existed. But it is a great sport, and I love working with the people. I go down there, I talk to them, I hear some of the things that they're asking for, bring it back to our department, and we kind of try to move that along to make them happy. If we could enhance our facilities, we want to enhance our facilities.
Carmen Roda, the operations manager of Westport Parks and Rec, we've covered the waterfront here and everything else. And thank you for letting us get a inside peek into Westport's Parks and Recreation Department.
Thanks for having me. It was an honor and a pleasure. Thanks, Dan.
You got it.